Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Bright Side of Beauty podcast presented by Beyond Skin Aesthetics. Today, we have a brand new face in the studio. If you follow us on socials, then you have already seen her face. It is the Mary Kate to my Ashley. It is the Raquel to my Barbie and the peanut butter to my jelly. Caitlin, welcome to the Bright Side of Beauty podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here today. I feel like we really hard launched our relationship on socials of just being the duo, and we're always getting into trouble of some sort. But give everyone a background. If they have not gotten to know you yet, they haven't come in to meet you in person, see you, sit down in your treatment chair. Who is Caitlin? Give us the background of who you are.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I feel like I've always loved all things beauty. I would do like a cut crease on my eye at 7 a.m. for school in like 7th grade. I would wear purple eyeliner. Like I would go crazy. And then as I got into high school is where I fell in love with anatomy and just like the human body and all that. I've always loved fitness. And so then when I went to school, I kind of naturally gravitated toward the path of sciencey healthcare. But I also, again, always loved the beauty background of everything. And then once I got into college, I actually went to school for kinesiology, for physical therapy. Got out of school, realized I didn't want to do that. I worked at a hospital, saw patients that way, and I felt like I was just a little bit more nosy than that. And I wanted to get involved with people in general a little bit more. So then that's what led me to nursing.
Okay. But beauty was still like a hobby at this point. Like it was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I just want to be a girly pop.
Yeah.
But you weren't necessarily doing anything with it yet.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
I feel like outside of school and that, I always love dressing up, having my hair done. I always do. I call it like my drag beat. I always joke that's like I always will have my makeup fully done no matter where I go, even to the gym. Yeah. I love doing it. I feel like it's a goal in aesthetics to only, wear like SPF and you can walk out the door. No, certainly not me.
Could not be me.
Maybe one day we'll get there. But right now, like makeup is just so fun to me. And then also having now the aesthetic background of it and understanding how your skin can impact how your makeup goes on and wearing SPF and all the important things. But then I went back to school for nursing and I knew aesthetics was an option in nursing, but it felt very far off to me. Like that wasn't, and it's certainly not anything that's taught in nursing school. They don't come close to teaching anything about skin in general unless it's like a wound, and that's, not fun. Who wants to really learn about that? Some people love wounds, but not me.
And it's also just like, okay, how do we get this to heal? It's not like, how do we prevent scarring? How do we, unless you're going into plastics, but really it's more of the logistical, how do we just get from point A to point B, not how do we do it the prettiest possible.
Right. Yeah. And I just love, and it's so funny that actually makes me think that in nursing school, we had a very small class, but not everybody always was together. Like we were always very separated for clinicals. So people would refer to me as the girl who does her makeup. And I'm like, yeah, that is me. I do my makeup every time and I will keep doing it. So I feel like there were signs. I don't know if you've heard that trend where it's like there were signs, right?
There were definitely signs.
There were definitely signs.
Yeah. That's so funny. I used to get called Barbie. That was like the derogatory term. Like if somebody was trying to offend me, they were like, okay, Barbie. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Thank you. That's what I'm
Barbie?
saying. I know. It's like when you have that like characteristic that you love about yourself and people pick up on it, you're like, thanks. Even if they try to insult you.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, thank you. I do my makeup. So thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
And then in school, the only thing I ever saw myself doing was labor and delivery. Because we only get clinicals in certain spaces. You don't even go to an outpatient clinic to see that. You're always bedside. That's where you're pushed. Yeah. So I saw labor and delivery nurses. I was like, I want to do that. And then that kind of got me into women's health. I love being one-to-one and building a relationship with patients. And I feel like that slowly kind of pushed me more towards it just pushed me more towards like building a relationship. I like being one-to-one. I liked really getting to know people. And then slowly, I was on nights. As you know, I would crash out often being on nights.
Your circadian rhythm was just so jacked up. Like it was, you were trying to function on your off days in normal life, but your work life was on the complete opposite schedule. Like our bodies are not made to be able to do that yo-yo whatsoever.
No, exactly. And so,
which we'll get into that, but
that's a whole thing. But I loved my time in labor and delivery for sure. But during my time of nights, I was just like, I don't know that I can do this for a lifetime. And then I was like, what else would I love to do? And then I immediately thought of aesthetics. That's the only other thing I could picture myself doing, where I feel like I could carry a lot of the things that I learned in L&D, but also and then apply it to the more beautiful side of nursing. So yeah, that's kind of what led me into getting down this route.
I feel like when we met, you had this beautiful kind of cross bridge of like, okay, this is what I love about labor and delivery. And this is where I feel like it fits into aesthetics, or where I can bring that expertise into aesthetics. What was kind of your drawing factor into labor and delivery that made you excited to go to work? Because you loved your job. It wasn't that you didn't love your job. It was just, you knew that that wasn't your forever.
Right. I feel like every time I was ever in a clinical with labor and delivery, I had a job as a tech on the unit before. So I was able to be in the environment beforehand. But everything I saw those nurses doing, I was like, they're just baddies, because it's literally you and the patient, and everybody thinks that the doctor is the one that does everything, but it is truly just the patient and the nurse the entire time. And unless something, you know, theoretically is happening where they need to come in, or it's time for the baby to come out, that's when they come. Yep. And so I just love that you're really in control of the whole situation. And you get to build that relationship. I mean, it's just you and your patient for 12 hours. That was like where the nosy part of me came. It's like, I want to know, like, how did you meet?
Everything.
Yeah. How did you meet your partner? How did, you know, everything. I would always ask them questions that have nothing to do with why they're there.
Yeah.
And I loved that part of it.
Yeah.
And I just like how in emergencies, like you just got to see women do cool things and just be baddies. And I loved it, everything about it.
Yeah. I feel like when we met, I instantly got from you that you are so invested in the important details of people's lives. Like, you genuinely want to know your patient and you want to be a part of those big moments, which of course in labor and delivery, you're a part of some of the biggest moments of people's lives. Yeah. Unless you have multiple children, sometimes like that is truly one of like the top 3 biggest moments of your life.
Yeah.
You also, I feel like, are somebody that needs the follow through. Like you do want to know all the details, but then your person checks out and takes their baby home. And then, you know, what happens after that, you're a follow through type person, but you definitely took that structure of being a part of people's journeys and kind of brought that with you into aesthetics of, okay, how do I empower? Because that's really what you were doing, is you were that empowerment of like, yes, mama, you can do this. Like your body is capable of such incredible things, and I'm going to help you get to the point where like you're meeting your baby today. It's happening. And so that now bringing into aesthetics, I see that come out of you where it's like, okay, how can I make you confident? Like, you really are a confidence builder in the treatment room as well. Okay.
I try.
So let's talk about how you ended up with us at BSA, because this is what people really want to hear and learn about is, I mean, both of our DMs are blowing up all the time of people saying, how do I get into aesthetics? How did you get your job? How can I get my foot in the door somewhere? What's your advice? And so I want to talk about that, because you went through the ringer. Like, you put in the work to get your job.
Yeah.
How intense is it?
Well, I feel like saying the ringer, I feel like like Beyond Skin truly has, and then I'll go back to the beginning, but I feel like you guys really took a load off of me, and just like the way you brought me in, which again I will get to, but I feel like the ringer is a little intense, especially being with you guys. I think it can be the ringer for sure, but I also think it goes into what are you doing in your time to prevent it from being the ringer. But so like I said, on my many crash outs of night shift, and then being like, okay, what can I do to change things? Because at the end of the day, I feel like there's a saying, and it's like, unless you're changing something, you're choosing something. And I feel like because I felt miserable all the time, I was like, I have to do something about it. And so anyways, then the first thing I started doing was research on, I feel like TikTok is always where I go first, of like, what do people have to say? Because it's like people will just vlog stuff, like mini vlogs, and you can just go through really quick blurbs of what people are saying. And everybody has, I feel like, a different way of getting into aesthetics. Some people are like, I worked in a derm clinic for 2 years before I tried anything, or I got hired right outside of nursing school. And so it was kind of trying to figure out, okay, I know where I want to end up theoretically, but like, where do I start? That's the biggest thing that I feel like many people have a problem with. And so I just started DMing a bunch of injectors in Columbus, being like, how did you start? What courses did you take? like literally what do I do?
Yeah.
And I feel like it can be really encouraging to hear from injectors how they got started, but also in the same sense, it can be discouraging because a lot of them are like, I just happened to know this person who gave me this opportunity, or I just kept applying and applying and applying until somebody told me yes. And so there's really no one way to do it, but then it also leaves the door open of like, okay, there's also almost too many options and there's no set way to go. So it really is like what you put into it and what you make it. And so I just kept reminding myself, like, I just need one yes.
That's all it takes.
I just need one yes, and that can change my life. And you were literally my yes because I forced you. Not really, but in the midst of doing research of practices in Ohio, I had a little bit of my own like experience in aesthetics. Like I think I got lip filler once before I came, years ago though. And I knew there's a certain feel that practices can have. Like when you go in and you know, you're like, okay, I'm just the next person walking through the door versus like, oh, I feel valued here. And I feel like in doing research amongst practices, like one, I recognized your face. That was like the first thing is I feel like for context, Delaney and I went to the same school. You're 4 years ahead of me? 3 years ahead of me?
4. I'm at least 4.
Okay.
5. I think I'm 5.
4 or 5
Wasn't
years.
I think I was
I
a
graduated
senior when
high
you were in
school
8th grade.
2019.
I graduated in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4.
So 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I recognize your face first and foremost on the pretty little website branding. And then I just started going through the website. I feel like was the first thing to try to see, you know, what you guys were like, what's the practice like, what are your values and things like that. And I feel like I just really aligned with everything that you guys were putting on there. And also I think it's worth saying, but you do need to be, I think, a little bit careful and a little bit picky about where you reach out. Like you don't just want to be anywhere as somebody new, because you can really, I mean, that can make or break the start of your career, which is like arguably the hardest part. So I think you do have to be open to any and all opportunity, but still be careful of like what you'll put yourself out to. Yeah. And in the time of like searching and DMing people, I also did take a course separately, which is kind of thinking back to what that course was, it's a little crazy. But and just like how,
okay, what kind of course was it?
Okay, so it was just like a very basic like 4-hour injector course, like a basic neurotoxin and dermal filler course. It was 4 hours. Models came in that knew we were all brand new, never held a needle in our hands, nothing.
Yeah.
And
was it in Columbus or did you travel?
I actually went to Cincinnati for it, or like almost Kentucky. It was like right on the. It was just in a hotel. It wasn't like, that makes it sound sketchy, but you know how some people just,
it was like in like it was like they rented like a room in a hotel type thing. Yeah.
And anyways, they just sat us down and kind of checked us in, explained what we were going to do. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then just like straight needle to people's faces. And I'm like, we're not going to practice on fruit or like a dummy, nothing. And it was just straight.
Here's a needle. Like you've given a shot before.
And they were sitting straight
face.
up in chairs, which if you've ever done any injecting, it's not
just like weird angle.
Yeah. You don't inject anybody like that. You know?
Yeah, that's really strange.
I mean, I don't.
So would you do it again?
I think taking a course is valuable, especially if somebody has not started in bedside. I cannot imagine my first experience going to somebody with a needle in general was at somebody's face. I do think being bedside for some, I don't think it's required because every area of nursing truly is so different. But I do think it's extremely beneficial to have bedside experience because you also learn so much outside of nursing skills. You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to be put on the spot. You learn how to handle emergency situations where you don't necessarily have help, and you can still have medical emergencies and aesthetics too. People can pass out, vagal, you know, theoretically do anything that's unexpected. But yeah, I just can't imagine my first time ever holding a needle is also when I'm like
yeah, that's crazy. Do you feel like it added to your education before applying for a job, or do you feel like that could kind of fit in anywhere? Like, would you suggest for somebody to take a course like that before they even apply for a job? Because you had a very interesting take when we first talked about that. Do you mean to spoil it?
About what I said to you of like,
so what you had said to me is you took this course and what you figured out is, yes, you liked it and that you were capable of it. You almost like vetted yourself of like, yeah, this is something that I could do because you had like the experience of it, which I think is a very interesting take because especially from inside of the industry, like at this point, like I've been in the industry for so long that I almost can't picture myself out of the industry. So I have a lot of thoughts of that are very common within the aesthetics industry and specialty. And many of us have very harsh feelings around those quote unquote weekend courses. And then people thinking that they're master injectors and, you know, these like expert injectors ready to open up their own practice, go into
Heck
like,
no.
right? Like
After
a solo
that course.
injector.
No, I was immediately like, I need help.
Yes.
I need way more. I need more in depth of like,
Yeah.
so how it was framed was somebody else, the nurse practitioner that was leading the course would be like, okay, inject here, 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 and here. And there are certain things like in the nursing world and many other jobs too, but I can only speak to it because I've only ever done that. But there are certain things you just have to do it. Like in order to learn it, you're just going to have to do it. So as far as putting a needle in somebody's face, I do think, of course, before getting a job in aesthetics, you should know whether or not
you're capable of putting somebody's
and comfortable
face.
with it.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it was great. But I was like, I want to understand why we're putting it here. I want to understand like the layers to it, the complexity of it. Like I just need a lot more educational wise. I feel that was just very like foot on the pedal, like just get started, just try it.
Throw it in there.
And so in that regard, it was good. But I think for actual learning, like in depth, taking somebody home, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that course specifically.
Right. Yes. No, exactly. So point being more of it had value for you at that point in time and you were able to differentiate your level of expertise from that course. You didn't leave and immediately be like, okay, I'm ready to go be a solo injector.
Oh, no.
It was like, okay, this was really good baseline. I've learned that I really like it. I'm capable of it and I need to learn more. And this is now pointing me in the direction of where I can do more research and education and build upon that.
Yeah.
And you've really kind of slowly built these blocks, but you did take a course before you even reached out to us, or did you reach out to any other practices? Because I know that you were trying to get your foot into the door a couple
injectors
places.
Specifically about their process, what it looked like for them, timing. And I mean, a lot of people, and this is where I said it can kind of be discouraging. Some people be like, I tried for 6 months. I tried for a year, like a long time. I did reach out to practices in sense of like shadowing. I feel like that was the only thing is like I ever would ask if they had shadowing opportunities or offered any trainings on the side, but actual like job opportunities, I feel like I only ever spoke with Beyond Skin about it.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about you reaching out too. So you basically like slid in my DMs in a way.
Yes. I can't remember how.
Did you send me an email first and then send in a DM?
Oh, I can't remember exact. I don't feel like I ever DM'd you. Maybe that was why you actually liked me because I didn't DM you. Maybe
I don't know.
But I know for a fact I emailed you at some point, but I also texted the like BSA phone,
which I have.
Which
I bet that was
which I didn't know at the time.
You followed
and I
up.
also emailed somebody, and I also did I say email already? I may have. I also called the practice.
Yes, you called in. You sent an email and I think you texted and said, hey, I just sent this in.
Correct.
Yes. And we were not
within
hiring.
Like 3 days. I gave them no time to breathe. And I was like, have you seen my messages?
But I think that was honestly the best thing to do because you have to have some follow through. Like the amount
that
of
CRM follow through.
Right. I mean, that's like when you're trying to build your book of business, you have to have some follow through with that anyways. But when you are trying to get a job too, that is something that like, I think, for me, it's definitely a pet peeve is people will just like cold send their resume and be like, hi, are you accepting applications right now? Here's my resume. And there's nothing else. And Caitlin, what is my biggest pet peeve when people send in their resumes or ask if we're hiring?
The biggest pet peeve, and I feel like dead giveaway when you're just like, you don't get it, is when they don't follow any of the social medias. Yours, BSAs, Bright Side Beauty, nothing.
Guys, it kills me. If you're going to apply for a job somewhere, follow them on social media. It is the least that you can do. Unfollow them later if they don't hire you and you're really not interested.
Like play the part.
Before,
come on, try.
Before you send in your resume, you need to be following the business on social media. It's honestly brownie points if you're engaging with them, because what's the first thing that we do in today's world? We immediately look the people up on social media. I can tell you, if you are sending your resume to Beyond Skin Aesthetics, I am the one that is vetting it. I am the one that's setting up the phone interviews. You don't talk to anybody else on the team before you go through multiple interview sessions with me. And before I do anything else, I look you up on social media and I go straight to our Beyond Skin Aesthetics Instagram page first. I type in your name. I type in anything that could be related to you.
A cheat code right now.
It is.
You're
this is a cheat code.
Free.
This is for real. Like, write this down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I immediately go to our Beyond Skin Aesthetics page and I will search your name. If you have a school or something, like if I can't find your name, if you have, like for me, I have my first and my middle name is I call it my stage name, but like I don't necessarily have my last name on anything. So if I can't find you that way, I'm going to go to, if you say that you're involved with this nonprofit or this church or you volunteer at this school or something like that, I'm going to go that way to, one, check basically your references in a way, but especially as a girl, like we will find you. I will find you.
When we were on the phone, you're like, I'm going through your following right now.
We were actively on the phone interview and I was like, okay, so you know this person, this person, this person. What do you think about this injector that you follow? Mm-hmm. Like that is legitimate. If you don't follow Beyond Skin Aesthetics, I'm going to go and see if you follow my business page or one of our injectors, because sometimes you only follow one of us. And that's totally fine. But are you engaged with somebody inside of our business? How did you find us to begin with? And are you invested in the success of our business? Are you a previous patient? I think that is definitely a understated way to build a connection with a business. If you are invested in the business's success, they are going to be invested in at least getting to know you to see if you'd be a good fit for the team. And there is some professionalism there, which we can get into too with, I think, some A+ things that you did in the interviewing process too. But that is number one, biggest pet peeve. If you are not following the company that you are applying for on social media, on LinkedIn in some way, if you are not invested in their success, why are they going to give you the time of day? You're not even going to get a phone interview. Mm-hmm. Mic drop with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
pet peeve covered.
Pet peeve covered. Write it down. Right. Check that off the list. Yeah. Follow. Yeah. Follow for more tips.
Yeah.
So you did follow on social media and you were engaged, and you had actually been engaged for a little bit too. Like it wasn't like you just like hit follow and then send in your resume right away too. Mm-hmm. Like you'd really gotten to know us too. So when I did reach out to you and say, okay, can you jump on the phone? I normally don't schedule phone interviews for that long, but we ended up talking on the phone for like an hour and a half. Yeah, it was a very long time, which we did realize that like we had gone to the same school. Right. We had people in common, like family, friends in common, and like everything. So we were kind of like getting to that like, okay, common ground, but also where do you want to go in your career? And that initial, at least for us at Beyond Skin, that initial interviewing process is really getting to know you and seeing if like your vibe fits. But instantly we were like, we're friends. Got it. Check that right off of the list. Mm-hmm. But I went through your following list and I started asking you questions. What did you do ahead of that telephone interview to prepare yourself so that like, because you had answers to every question that I had. So what did you do to prep, or where is like your mindset at before that phone interview?
I feel like I have always, I don't know if I've ever said this to you. I feel like I'm a very type B person unless it comes to work, in the sense of like, yeah, at work I'm very type A, and like I'll always
She's a liar.
I will always get in my brain. I feel like I'm very
so
type
not
B.
A type B person.
I feel like I am, but in the sense of like for interview prep, I feel like Beyond Skin is I just wanted to make sure I really understood the practice, your values, and just kind of tried to understand like what the message is you were trying to put out beyond the results of your patients, because that's what ultimately is going to set a practice apart. Because I mean, anymore, there's practices all over. So why one would I want to like, I guess, work with you in a sense, like understanding the value of your practice, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Interviewing us in return.
Yeah, in a way. Because obviously I told them in one of my interviews, and maybe don't say this, but I feel like it's just the truth. I was like, I have everything to gain from you guys, and you have nothing to gain from me in this moment, like in the interview process, because I'm brand new, like in nursing world in general, like I'm an infant. Even bedside, I was at it for about a year. That's infancy, even though I learned a lot of things, still infancy. And as far as injecting, like
You had no
even
experience.
less, none. Yeah. And
you'd done a course.
I'd done a course. And to be an injector and be really valuable to a practice, it really is like, what are you bringing to us? And right now it's like,
nothing.
I got nothing.
I have no book of business. I just started my Instagram page, like my business Instagram page. I've done one weekend course type thing. I am truly like starting at the beginning. I think that line might have been honestly like the breakthrough moment with the entire team of like, okay, she gets it. She's not coming in here thinking, I'm so cute and trendy. I've got so many friends that are going to come in that I'm sure they're going to come and support me and spend thousands of dollars.
Right, theoretically.
Because
you
that's
still have to do that.
Never the case. Right. It's all of our friends. We're waiting for the phone call. But you didn't come in with this like high horse in a way of
oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Like pay me, $200 per hour. I'm making this up, but like this astronomical amount per hour plus commission plus all these things. I'm just going to sit here. You need to fill my books for me. Like you didn't come in with any of that. It really was like, I just want to learn from you in any way possible. I understand you're not even hiring, but I believe that I would be an asset to your team. And this is why. And it kind of knocked us all off of our feet in a way where we were like, hold up, this girl, she might just get it. She might just understand things. Like there's a level of humility that came into it and confidence at the same time of like, you knew what your worth was, but you also knew how far you needed to go.
Right.
And that alone, that mindset was an asset potential for our business where we were like, no, she'd be a good part of our team because that's the type of mindset that we want to be a part of. That's the type of person that we want to be around, is somebody that is always learning, but also has the confidence in themselves to be like, I'm worth it, but also tell me more, teach me. I can learn from you in any situation.
Right. I think the biggest thing in general is just being coachable and like accepting critique and understanding like what you can work on. And we weren't even, the initial discussion wasn't even a job. That wasn't even on the table the first time we spoke. It was more of like,
can I come learn from you?
Yeah. It was literally like, can I come shadow? Like literally whatever crumb of bread I can take, I will take it.
It was literally a phone interview to come and shadow.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
are we going to let you shadow?
Yeah. And I think that is just like, you really starting in aesthetics have to be open to that. Like you cannot just go into anywhere expecting a job and to start on your feet injecting. But that's where I was saying that I feel like Beyond Skin has really helped me jumpstart my career in general, because a lot of like the opportunities that you guys have given me, I always say they're way too nice to me. But truly, like you guys have invested in trainings and like helping me get people in the door to start injecting, to start building my book of business. Whereas a lot of practices and a lot of people may hire you on and be like, okay, we're helping you with nothing.
Yeah,
like we gave you the platform, go ahead. And of course there are some aspects like you still have to do the work. I feel like I always see the trend that's like, I didn't want to do a 9 to 5, so now I work 24/7 sort of thing. Of like, you really do have to constantly be aware of, what am I doing to continuously, I guess, propel my career in a way of like,
and show up the best you can.
Motion. Yeah. Just like showing up, doing what I need to do that day, but also still working towards, okay, we're always building. Like there's something else I can be doing. There's something I could post. There's education, like so many ways you can take it. So I think just remembering it's like, you need to start somewhere, and whether that be at the bottom or whatever that looks like, just start and then keep going.
Yeah. And you had that mindset. So we jumped on the phone. We talked for a little bit. I was like, I want to be friends with this girl, but also like stay professional, Delaney. And so I said, hey, we're looking for some models. Do you want to come in and be a model for us? That will put you in the same room as our injector, who is, you guys have heard me say it before, but Alicia truly is the best injector in Columbus. She's our little hidden secret that we're trying not to hide. We don't want her to be our secret, but she really is the best injector. I call her the ballerina injector. She's so delicate with her approach. She truly is an artist, and which is what I said to you. And I was like, it will get you in the room with her. You can pick her brain when you're in the room. So come in, as long as you're okay being in content and stuff, I will film. You'll have both of us in the room, but really you'll be in the room with Alicia, and you can learn from her. You can experience what it is like to be injected, what her consultation style is like, just feeling everything from a different perspective than like, I feel like sometimes when you schedule an appointment as a patient, you're not necessarily going into it thinking through like, okay, wait, what angle is she in right now? What's she treating? How's she coaching me through that? So you were able to sit down in the chair with that mindset of like, okay, even though I'm the patient, I'm also learning everything possible. And
Mhm.
you came with a list of questions and you got in the room and you made Alicia fall in love with you. Since she was like, yeah, she can shadow some more. And then you came back, I think one more shadowing day, right?
Yeah, I think I came back like the next week.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or no, it was my I think it was just
Maybe
like my
we did.
3-week follow-up. And then
Yeah,
that
there was
was
some
kind of when we
time.
discussed the terms of shadowing.
You stayed on in between. You were like, hey, if something becomes available, I'd love to do this or that, or here's some ideas that I have. I could just be an MA. Like, what can I do? How can I get in the room? Can I just shadow like once a week? And are you guys okay with that? You don't even have to pay me. Can I just stand in the room and like learn from you
sit
guys?
on my hands and watch. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which was a whole separate thing. But you did, like, you kept on me in between that too. So you came in as a model. And that was more of just like okay, you can get in the room and ask questions. We'll be an open book for you. And then you stayed on the fact that you were like, I want to be a part of your team. What can I do? How can I learn more from you?
3 weeks of blowing up your phone, probably.
And then we got to the point of like, okay, let's do this. So instead of doing like a long-term shadowing process or an internship of some way, let's do part-time. So you joined us part-time.
It was a quick turnaround.
How did you feel when that happened?
It was like very exciting. It was like, I felt like the work, I don't know, it just made me feel like not delusional. Because sometimes when you set a goal for yourself and you're like dreaming something and you're like, I want to make this happen. It was just nice to see like there was a follow through, like kind of what I had been doing and wanting for myself had been paying off. But I also think it was like a God moment of, I think like the yes that I had been waiting for was very much supposed to come from you guys. Do you know what I mean? Like it just felt like it all like worked out.
Yeah.
But also that was a very hard time because I was still full-time nights bedside, part-time there. And I feel like we made it work to the best of our ability, but it was also difficult because then
you were on
like,
night shift 4 days a week.
It was,
and then,
3 nights, but it takes up like 4 or 5 days depending on your schedule and how it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were flipping around and trying to do days with us.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough.
There was one. It was just a training. I didn't touch a patient that day. I don't even think I had started, but
I think it was just like a rep came in for like a training. And we said you could sit in on it, like a product
skincare.
training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was plated.
It was plated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first time I met
like,
Sherry.
Come learn about exosomes. And it was right off of night shift.
Yep. I think I was up for 24 hours because I had worked the night before. And then I came straight to the office to learn.
Yeah, she did really good for like the first 2 hours. And then like halfway through, we were like her eyes might close.
She's not, I'm not here.
Like, can't she drive home? Can we trust her?
I know everybody was really worried, but it was yes.
Yeah, it was fine.
I was very much myself. I was there. I just wasn't talking as much as I normally do. I feel like I was just trying to focus and stay awake. You're like, for it.
How can I learn this? Give me notes.
Though. It was interesting. Yeah.
So you came in for a training. At this point, you were part-time, and it was less part-time injector, more just like part-time being in the office, like learning in a way. It was like truly training. Like you were coming to events with us. I know you came to like Where What Works. You went to an allergen dinner.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like there were so many things that like we were able to put you in rooms that you wouldn't have had access to. Honestly, even at some other big practices with like lots and lots of employees, you wouldn't have even had the opportunities for. But you had a lot of training opportunities right out of the gate.
100%.
How did that make you feel? Was it like overwhelming? Was it surreal? Was it something that you were like, give me more of this? Like, where was your head at the beginning?
Yeah, I feel like the Where What Works event with Color Science, and then I had an allergen dinner. Those were all in the same day. And I feel like that day really just like it clicked with me. I was like, this is exactly where I want to be. I feel like it was just really inspiring to see other people in it and how far you can really take it in this industry, how passionate people are about things, and just learning from people that have been doing it for a really long time. I feel like that was like, I think I posted about it and I was just like, I don't even remember what I said, but I just felt like that day I was like, wow, this is exactly where I want to be and I really want to work on this. Yeah. And then I did another allergen training with Tina. I think that day was overwhelming, like in a good way, because that was just like injecting. I think I had 2 or 3 models, and I was
that was literally just you.
Facial balancing. That was the first time I did a cannula, and it was just so like back to back, and it was super complex and all these things.
Her hands on your hands, like your hands also, were in faces the entire day.
I feel like the amount of support though that I've gotten from you guys and even the reps, like especially I feel like Anne that day, like the confidence that you guys have in me makes me feel more confident. So then that's why I'm always like, I feel like I don't deserve it like all of the time. But like that day specifically, I just like, Anne was always in the corner, like, you're doing so good. Or just like, they could tell, even from when I started, I feel like the biggest compliment, they're just like, I can tell by the way you're holding the needle, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
even just the
huge
positioning.
because coming from the hospital where it's like, all right, you're going to get this, how you're going to get it. Like, it's just the down and dirty. Like it's the way it looks doesn't matter. It's just like the end point. Whereas I feel like everything in aesthetic, I mean, it's aesthetics. Like you want it to be as like not pretty as possible, but obviously you don't want to like
and medicine.
It's art.
Yeah.
It's you want it to be as least painful as possible. Like everything just needs to be like this. Whereas like coming from the hospital, it's like just whatever. I feel like Delaney had to correct me for so many times. Whenever I was injecting people, I would not use them as a table. I don't want to say that. But I would have a gauze pad and I would just pop it on them, like pop it on their shirt. And she's like, stop doing that.
I know. I was like, one, you're ruining my freaking video.
Yeah.
And number two, that we're not bedside. And so you've got to like elevate it a little bit. Like patients don't want to have the dirty gauze on their shoulder.
Every time I would be like giving medication, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pop this here. Like, and it's fine. Because the end goal, like just having the baby and getting the medication, like that's it. Whereas aesthetics is completely different.
And nobody notices. Like you're in the middle of a contraction. You don't really care if a gauze pad is somewhere. Like you're just.
It doesn't matter. They're really not
pushing through a contraction.
What I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. So just completely different. But that's again, just like the trainings and the confidence that you guys have had in me have just like made me feel so much better. And that's why I feel like when you said, what did you phrase it as when we first started? Like,
I don't know.
You didn't say torture or like how hard was the whole process. And I feel like parts of it maybe getting
like you really went through the ringer.
That's why I feel like I can't even say that it was the ringer because I feel like maybe in the initial points of like figuring out
I think just getting your foot in the door.
Getting my foot in the door was maybe the ringer, but I feel like you guys really brought me out of that. And just balancing both jobs, that was the ringer.
I think
absolutely the ringer.
There's so much hustle that goes into getting your foot in the door somewhere and showing up in a way that brings value to the room, whether it's just your energy into the room. Like that's something that like we enjoyed being around you. So even though you didn't necessarily have the skills yet because you hadn't learned that,
useless.
you brought a light and an energy to the room that was valuable. You brought this freshness and this creativity to the room that brought value to the room. And so I think that that's more of what I mean is like you went through the ringer just trying to get your foot in the door and to get somebody to see that value and that potential in you and then invest in you in that way. And then the hard work that took to get out of bedside into aesthetics and that transition period. I mean, you're really still in the thick of it right now, even though you have gone full time, but that like flipping back and forth between schedules and also flipping your brain, like being able to go from bedside and put your, supplies anywhere that you want versus me being like, you're ruining my video and it's not pretty. Okay. Like that's gross, Caitlin. Don't put that on her, shoulder.
Right.
That mental cartwheels that you had to do for weeks on end, honestly, months on end with that. Like that was the ringer of more of what I mean. And I think most people would quit and most people don't put in the hard work to even get their foot in the door because once they reach out to a couple places, they're like, nobody's giving me the time of the day. The aesthetics industry is just superficial or it's a, everybody has to know somebody type of game or they bribed their way to get their, opportunity type thing. And that's not necessarily the case. Like you networked, you built relationships and you invested in yourself so that somebody else would invest in you. And I think that that's something that we have constantly said to you and honestly to anybody is we will invest in you as much as you're investing in yourself. And the opportunities that you've had so far are 100% earned because you've showed up with that humility. You've put in the hard work. You're willing to do the after hours work yourself. Like you're constantly researching on the back end just so that you feel more confident in the room. And we see that as a business and that makes us want to pour into you more as well. So it kind of all builds together in this process. So you were going back and forth. You were doing those cartwheels. You were going through the ringer. I'm sticking with it. That's still my phrasing that I'm going to use. You're going through the ringer. Wait, I hope nobody's doing a drinking game. How many times you say that?
Take a shot every time she says ringer.
Yeah, like especially at the beginning, like between the two of us.
Yeah.
But you were going through the whole process, and then you said to me one day, I need to just do this. I think it was after that day with the Wear What Works in the Allergan.
Yeah, that day just was like, oh my gosh.
You were like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. I can tell it's clicked in my brain. I'm ready to invest. And I don't think that I can be the best that I can be if I don't dive in.
Yeah.
So how can we make this a possibility? And can we start down that road? I know it can't happen overnight, but like, how do we get to where I can go full time? What do I need to do to build my books? And I remember too, it was almost as impressive as you being like, you have nothing to gain and I have everything to gain in this situation. Is you came to me when you were ready to go full time, which honestly was from the beginning, but like when you were ready to say,
when I was really like,
okay, I need to, like, for me to be the best, I need to go full time. How can I do that? Can I go fully part-time and start injecting, running the laser, like doing these things that like I've been trained on now? Can we build my book of business? Once that's full, can we keep adding days on where I can transition into that? Can I help with marketing? How do I fill my books up? You were asking all of the right questions and saying, okay, I will do the legwork. You don't have to make sure that my schedule is full. I will do the work here. And will you just point me in the right direction? I'll even figure it out on the way. What was going full time like mentally for you? Because you loved your job.
Yeah.
You were excited about your new job, but like what was that like for you? Because I think a lot of people face what you faced.
Yeah, I feel like there was so much anxiety in it in a way, because I feel like initially, like, obviously, like, money is not everything, but it is like a big piece of it. Going from bedside to aesthetics, that's what everybody's going to tell you, and it is the truth. Like, starting out, I mean, you have to build your book of business. So somebody who doesn't have one, like, that aspect of it, it's gonna be a little bit of a difference. Like, bedside, there's like a little bit more stability starting out, whereas I think aesthetics, like, you can grow a lot more. And I feel like your mom would always say, like, there is a glass ceiling in the hospital of like, this is how much you can make and you're going to stay there. Whereas like in aesthetics, you don't have that. Like, it really is what you make it. And
there's stability, but a glass ceiling. Versus in aesthetics, there's this unpredictable side to it, but there's no glass ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like the hesitancy of just not having stability was always going to hold me back, but it's also always going to be there. So it's like at some point I have to jump. And then I think it was like maybe the last week or two before I was actually like done with bedside, that it was so hard to give 100% in both places. And that's when I was really like, okay, probably not. Like, there was something so simple, but at the end, after I transferred my patients to postpartum, we would always take them from a wheelchair, put them into bed, and there's like linens on the wheelchair, and then I have my report sheet because I put them somewhere else. And I put the report sheets in the linen basket, and then I took the linens with me. So I flipped what I was supposed to do, and then I was like, I'm losing my mind. And there was like another thing I had also done in that shift. It wasn't like anything bad, but I just forgot like a very small detail that I normally never do. And I was like, okay, like my brain cannot go in both places. But I mean, I cherish that job so much, and like ultimately the preceptors that I had there and the people that I met, like, they trained me how to be a nurse, and I will always appreciate, I do think you need.
Alicia will preach that all the time too. She always says you need at least 1 year in some sort of emergency care, whether that is like labor and delivery, it's literally ER, you're in ICU, like something that's emergency care, because you never know what's going to happen in aesthetics. And it gives you a really good baseline for just knowing what could come in the door too, and how the body works. Because when you're in that emergency care situation, you really are dealing with head to toe versus an isolated area. And in aesthetics, you kind of need to know, how the muscle groups work together. Like, you really have to know anatomy, but you also have to know just everything, like the whole balance of the body. And in emergency care, you're faced with that day in and day out. And high stress situations. We're like,
I feel like that's the
you
high
learn your
stress.
levels.
Yeah, exactly, and how you respond to it, and then being put on the spot. Like, even though we're talking about different things, I think when patients like just ask you a simple question, just being able to understand how to answer it, or if you don't know the answer, how to not really give it away that you don't know the answer, but also like, you're still the professional, you're still the provider, so you have to show up as that. I also think it just also lets you know how to listen to people. Just sit and listen to people. What are their concerns? And then how to empathetically respond. There's so many things bedside does teach you. But yeah, I mean, I always will give credit to those people for, I feel like there's many times like emotional moments, like after, I don't know, something like a patient hemorrhaged, and like I've had friends we always say would talk me off a ledge, like of like, this is just super emotional, this is crazy. And then
it's real life. You saw them as a human. Is what it is. It wasn't just a case, it was a human being.
And so I just feel like, once I got to the point where I was at both jobs, really seeing, I'm like, okay, I cannot physically give my 100% here or in either space. So that's what's like, I really need to pick. And then, so yeah, ultimately, I mean, I know aesthetics is where I ultimately want to be. So that's why I was like, I just have to go for it. And now we're here.
You're just so freaking good at it too. Like, it's just,
I feel like you can't say that, but thank you.
No, you really are. Like, there's just such a natural ability, and you are so invested in being the expert from a medical place. And I think that's what makes you so great, is you have the artistic eye, but you also have such strong medical integrity behind it. And I mean, the bedside manner, I feel like, is just one of the most important things in aesthetics too, because
that's why I think you need time.
Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with a lot. You're dealing with insecurities from people. You're dealing with some of the highest highs and the lowest lows with people when they're coming in. And we really are on like the happy side of medicine. But at the same time, you're dealing with a lot of the negativity and like the poor self view that patients bring in, and building them up to make them feel confident on the flip side. Having the confidence to say no when they want to take it too far, and how to, I think sometimes patients don't know how to even identify something that maybe they're like, oh, I just feel like I feel so gross, but they can't put into words like, oh, it's actually that your under eyes are dark type thing.
Right.
And so how to tiptoe into that without being like, oh, well, here's all the problems with your face today. You know, like tiptoeing into that to build the confidence versus like breaking down to build back up just to like make $1.
Yeah.
And you're so good at that. I think also I would love to dive into is just like showing up as a good employee too. And I feel, okay, maybe let's do a couple more points with the interviewing process and getting opportunities too, just for listeners to have some key takeaways too. So of course I had my whole rant on follow on social media for sure. Email etiquette I think is huge, and phone etiquette is absolutely huge. I don't know if it's not taught in school anymore. I think did you have like a class that like you learned how to like make a resume or even like write an email, like anything like that?
Definitely not writing an email, but resumes, yes.
See, I did. That's so crazy. Like, even I guess that's like the difference between cursive and not learning cursive.
I didn't learn cursive though. I do. Yeah. They don't do that anymore, I guess, which is sad, but
I know. Like that must be because like I had a whole class actually, like every year we had a class that like was like, oh, not cursive. Sorry. How to like write an email, like how to write a cover letter, how to follow up after an interview. Like it was almost like a business 101 type thing. But like I learned that in high school. And then by going to college, I had like some time to practice that in communication courses too, just with my major. But I don't know. I feel like that's not a thing in school anymore, that like you're taught how to do a resume or a cover letter. I feel like send an email.
In college, resume and cover letter, yes, not an email. I feel like that's just, but to me though, that's common sense. Like if I'm emailing someone that works where I want to work or whoever it is, in a professional setting, it's like the email is going to be professional. I always think it's funny now, maybe that you've met me, like I would never describe myself as a professional, just like at baseline. And I feel like that was like the first thing you said maybe when I came in, you're like, you are so professional. And I was like, oh, I would not describe myself that way, but.
Maybe poise? Maybe that's like the
we're already knocking it back down.
Like maybe I don't know, because like I really would describe it as professional.
No, we're not professional.
But maybe that's what I was picking up on, is I was saying it is professional, but like you have a poise about you that like it. Yeah.
In that sense, like I feel like if I'm just
portrays well.
Yeah.
It interviews well.
Right. If I'm just meeting a coworker, like maybe a rep, or if I can see that you guys are like
the wall hasn't come down completely yet.
There's
a
wall.
No on and off switch.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Switch, but I feel like there's like a little wall, a little bit with like a new person that I want to hold. I want to start off professional before it like really comes out, and then you're like, okay.
Before like the full crazy Caitlin comes out, and you're just like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
We're going to record this while we're also doing this.
Right.
No, I do. I feel like, I guess for you as the listeners, if you're taking notes on what you can be doing right now as you're trying to get your foot in the door, cover letters really are a thing of the past, in my opinion. But what is a thing is sending your resume via email, typically, because you have to get your resume to them somehow. I think there is something to be said about somebody that prints off their resume and walks in the door and hands it as well, because your face meets somebody when you walk in too. Honestly, if you do that with BSA, 99% of the time, you're not going to actually meet me. And your resume will probably actually end up on my desk, mainly because we're all going to be like, look, somebody walked their resume in. This is what they looked like. They were so sweet. This is what they were wearing. So it really does give you a good first impression. But typically, you're sending an email with your resume. Put an introduction in your email. Don't just say, hi, I talked to somebody that answered the phone and they said that I could send my resume to this email. So here it is. Look forward to talking to you. Not kidding, guys. About a month ago, I got an email like that. Don't do that. Because you know what I did? I deleted it.
Right.
Well, I didn't delete it, but it's sitting in my inbox red, and I'm probably not going back to it unless like we get extremely desperate and I'm like, okay, let's give this person another go and, see how they are with second impression. But that first impression, instantly, I'm not even responding. I didn't even look them up on social media. That's how bad the email was. So in that, say, hi, I have done some research. This is what I love about your practice. Your team was amazing. This is who I talked to. Get the person on the phone that you talk to, because half of the time, especially speaking from experience, she's saying blow the phone up, send a text message apparently because Delaney gets it. But for us, there is a 50-50 chance that you are going to get one of the co-founders of our business on the phone, because we do have Ashley, who is our patient experience coordinator. But other than that, it is Katie and I that are answering the phone. So really, that's more than a 50% chance that you're going to get one of us on the phone. So, get the name of the person on the phone, talk to them a little bit. Obviously, don't hold up the phone line, but like there's a respectful thing there. Like, build a relationship. Don't just call and be like, hi, are you guys accepting applications right now? We're going to give you the email, and then it's just like one more tick down. So build that relationship already. I can tell you that I have gotten resumes before where somebody has great phone etiquette and builds that relationship with one of our team members on the phone. And they come to me and they say, hey, I just talked to this person. They were so nice. This is where they go to school. They're sending over their resume. I really think that you should look at it. And then that's going to get me to take a second look as well. Obviously, follow on social media if I haven't noticed or noted that enough.
Right.
Follow the company that you're applying to on social media. Get invested. Do the research. Like Caitlin said, look at the website. Know a little something. I have gotten on the phone with people before where I could clearly tell they don't even know what services we offer. Mm-hmm. Don't do that.
Well, I also feel like emailing, like the way you said too, it almost puts the expectation on, okay, now you give me something. Like, I'm going to send you my resume. Mm-hmm. This is what I got. Now give me something back. Yeah. And I feel like that's just obviously a huge no-no. Yeah, that's true. It's almost like an expectation type thing. Versus I think if you build that relationship ahead of time and you're giving that description, it almost flips it where it's like, okay, I've put myself out there. Now the ball's in your court to respond. And it's not in like a you owe me something type of way. It's like oh wait, that was really cool. Okay. I am going to respond because they took some time to do that. Or, they did their research, or they're, a little bit invested. It gets the ball rolling where it strikes up interest. And I think that's a big part of it is getting a job is networking. I think that so many people don't like the word networking. Right. But it is. And I feel like life is a network. Right. Getting somebody on the phone too. Mm-hmm. You're able to show your personality, or let somebody hear your personality and how you speak and how you communicate. Because I also feel like in this industry, that's huge. Yeah. Because there's been times I feel like even if somebody is really good at their job, in any job, they're really good at it, but you're super awkward, it's like you're hard to be around. Yes. So I feel like your personality truly does matter, especially in this industry, and like being able to communicate, being personable, being able to build that relationship, you can have the best results ever. And maybe because they're short appointments, like people would still go. But I feel like it's more enjoyable to have somebody. It's like if you don't build the relationship, right? And come back. If you have a really bubbly person that like does your hair, then the whole appointment is really fun. Whereas if you go to somebody that maybe is just silent the whole time, you're just gonna be like. Or you feel like you're like putting them it's part of the experience. Out of the way. Yeah. Right. And it's like part of aesthetics also is creating an experience. Like you want somebody to enjoy it from the moment they walk in, from the moment they walk out. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody isn't really capable of that, it is going to be, I think, a hindrance on
Yeah. And the phone interview really is like, it's that chance to show your personality for sure. So in our case, in our interviewing process, the next step would be that you come in for an in-person interview. I would say in an in-person interview, come dressed for the part. Wear either scrubs or wear something that is like business casual, even business formal is fine. But like, don't come in wearing, an aloe sweatsuit. Like, you can wear aloe, but
just
get
like
something
casual,
special. Yes, exactly. Like dress up a little bit. Don't come in sweatpants and a tank top type thing. Like, put a little effort into it. Do your hair, do your makeup, even if it's just like, even if it's just like washing your face and putting moisturizer on, but like it gives you a little bit of a glow. Look like you showered. Yeah. That's a good starting point. Then when you get there,
shower first.
Shower first, or at least look like you showered. Then when you get there, sit up straight, look the person in the eye, have a conversation, ask questions back, and don't. I think, and I guess this might be to our benefit here, but I feel like sometimes people get overly comfortable during the interview, and then they end up like slouching and leaning, or like it's just not. I don't know. Or they start talking like they're just like hanging out with a friend. But like, remember, like you're interviewing and you want to show your true self. Like, don't necessarily put on a show, but you do want to be professional and remember that you're being interviewed at the same time.
I think that's why I'm like, there's the wall.
Yes.
There is a wall. There has to be a professionalism wall.
That's true. Yeah. Because I mean, you don't even have to have necessarily like the best. I mean, we always say that our posture is like shrimps. Like we're always like
90-degree
crooked
angle.
over, like always. Yeah. I'm at a 90-degree angle. But, in that case, like even if you're comfortable, just remember that you are being
where you're at.
Interviewed. Yeah. And show up appropriately. Cause like, that's how you.
Do you have a horrible interview experience?
I do. The person came in high.
Okay.
Like full blown high. And I could tell.
Yeah.
And she was like laying sideways practically on the couch. I will give you, she came in on time, but like she was, if you're watching this right now on YouTube.
Wow.
Like, okay, maybe that was a little bit dramatic. She was like this.
She was just living her life, I guess.
She was like that the whole time. And I could tell that she was high.
Yeah.
I mean, at least she had put some Lumify in her eyes so her eyes weren't bloodshot, but like I could smell it on her. And
interview do's and
it just
don't
like
show up high.
Yeah, like even if you're nervous, just
wait until later. Wait until after.
I don't know, or do it earlier so
right,
that it's like coming off.
Yeah.
Like I don't know because I don't do that, but don't go to an interview high.
Yeah,
that's a great one. Don't go.
Yeah,
under the influence of anything to an interview. Right. And then when you get there, it builds the relationship and have, like Caitlin was saying, like have your research done where if they ask you a question, you can answer it. Mm-hmm. And then when you leave, this is the big one. This is the huge one. When you leave, follow up. Doesn't matter if it's email, doesn't matter if it's phone, text message, follow up. I think overall, everything is a human to human relationship. Mm-hmm. I think if we broke all of this down, it is you got the opportunity that you got because you built a relationship and you showed up as a kind, hardworking human. And we were like, oh my gosh, we want her as a part of our team. The successful people that we have had come in and interview and either join our team or had successful interviews and maybe it just wasn't 100% the right fit or the right time for them. They have done all of these things where they have focused on the human interaction. And it really does have to be a pairing both directions. I love what you said of like you found your home with us and vice versa. Like we didn't have the position available. You were just the right person to join our team. And it's just the stars aligned. And here we are. It really was a little God moment. Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like at this point, I'm going to keep going in squirrels. Yeah. And you tend to pull that out of me even more. So I'm going to cut myself off here. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap for today. Caitlin, I ask all of my guests the same question. Are you ready for it? I know that you're a listener of the Right Side of Beauty podcast. So yes. I think you probably know what the question is. Caitlin, what is something that is beautiful to you?
Okay. I told myself I was going to think about this and then I feel like we started talking. So I didn't really think too deep into it. But
nice. On the spot.
Yeah, that's even better. I really think the most beautiful thing to me that I always see about other people is when you can tell somebody is just very much authentically themselves. Like they show up confident, they not cocky or anything like that. But like I always love, like I'll use like maybe just like a cool girl or example as an example, or like just a unique person who does not care to follow trends or anything like that. And they're just like authentically themselves with the way they dress, the way they carry themselves, and are just kind to everybody. I feel like kindness goes a long way anymore. And just people who are not afraid to like wear their heart on their sleeve. I don't know. I just love people like that are TMI does not exist. They will share whatever and just create like an open and safe space. Cause I just feel like you don't have that as much anymore. You have to just be careful who you bring around your circle. So I would say beauty to me is just that, like people that are kind, compassionate, and just 100% themselves. And I think it really can show through in a room. And I feel like those are the people that I always am just like, oh, I love you, you know?
Oh my gosh. Well, by your own description, you are so beautiful and I love you. Like that was,
that is, and I love you too.
I feel like you just totally encapsulated who you are as a person in that too. Cause I definitely think that you're a cool girl and you have that just like humble confidence. I know I said that earlier too, but you do, like you have that kindness and that welcoming. Like you definitely have a lot of like, this might be TMI. It's never TMI, but
I always overshare.
You're a tell-all.
I love an oversharer.
I do too. I think that's why we instantly were like.
And unfortunately, I will tell you.
Unfortunately,
you will get too much information.
Unfortunately, you did give me a microphone today. Yes. Well,
you did.
It works. Well, you are so beautiful. I'm so glad that you are a part of our team. Welcome to the world. You are so official now because like you've now been on the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is my formal initiation process. No.
Oh my gosh. Wait. September was when your journey began. It isn't that freaking long.
It was like when I got back from short.
I know.
Short, but so long.
I know. Long, I just can't believe that because I had just gotten back from Aesthetic Next when we first got into contact and like the ball started rolling.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you're just now coming on the podcast. Yeah. Well, you're officially official because you're on the podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening in on.
Follow on Instagram.
I was going to say, you will definitely catch us over on Instagram. And we have officially relaunched our TikTok.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Even say that.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, we're relaunching, we're rebranding in 2026, and you'll just have to follow to find out.
Yeah. Follow to find out. You're going to get Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here.
Yeah.
Y'all let you decide who's who. But you're going to get us both on socials, and we'll see you online.